Good evening and welcome to Dodge Stadium. We're here for the Redlands East Valley Summit game, the season opener for the Wildcats. I'm Kyle Glazer alongside Pep Fernandez. We've got ourselves a great non-league matchup here in San Bernardino County tonight, Pep.
I'm excited for this one, Kyle. The Skyhawks opened up last week in week 0, a tough loss to Etiwanda, and it doesn't get any easier as they play Redlands East Valley. Let's bring in the head coach. Very kind of you, head coach Kurt Bruich, to join us before your game.
Thank you very much.
Against
Thank
Summit.
you very much.
Kyle, let's first ask him, this is just the beginning of a very daunting non-league schedule for your Wildcats. Just talk about facing Summit tonight to get the 2013 season going.
I think you said it best. We get to actually play a football game. We've been waiting a long time. I got to see a lot of people play last week, and just to be able to get on the field and play is exciting for our kids.
Now, Coach, Summit has two of the better receivers in the area in Eric Brown and Jordan Washington. You have some new cornerbacks that will be up to the task tonight. Tell us a little bit about those kids and what you want to see out of them.
We're not going to try to match up any man. Hopefully, that's not in our game plan. But for the most part, we're going to try to keep them under control. They're both very fast. They can go get balls. So for the most part, we want to have two guys on them when we can.
Excited to see what Mark Nielsen's going to do at quarterback. Very athletic, right?
Very excited, very excited. Also tonight, we're giving him checks. He's calling everything at the line. So most of the plays will be his decisions based on what he sees. He's schooled up and he's ready to go. It's going to be fun.
Now, Coach, obviously you guys are going for a 5th consecutive Citrus Belt League title, but before that you have that daunting non-conference schedule. What do you want to see out of your kids during this non-league portion of the schedule?
I want to see them compete. I want to see them get better every week. I want to see them rise up to competition. Obviously, the level of competition gets better and better as we go with the state-ranked teams that are coming up. So I would like to see our kids, one, have fun, but two, soak in the moment and compete and try to become a better football team every week. And if we can pull out a few wins, that'll be a lot of fun.
Home game at Dodge Stadium. Still kind of weird, even though you guys have done this before.
Yeah, it's always weird. It's always weird. It's Redlands High. It's Redlands High. But Citrus Valley has a stadium. Redlands has a stadium. We don't. So when they play at home, we deal with it. That's the way it goes.
All right, Coach. What's going to be the one thing that you think could be the key to tonight's game?
I think the physicality of our offensive linemen could play huge dividends for us. We're going to try to establish the run early and see what happens.
What have you liked through training camp and just the off-season workouts? Where do you think this team might be strong?
I think we're talented on offense. I think we're more talented than we've been in a few years offensively. I think defensively we lack a little team speed, but we seem to be in the right place a lot. So, with that said, except for maybe a few missed tackles tonight, and hopefully we keep the ball in our possession, I just hope for a clean, well-executed football game.
And everyone stays healthy, of course. That's a big one.
Health is important.
All right, Redlands East Valley head coach Kurt Bruich, thank you so much, Coach, for joining us. We really appreciate it.
Appreciate it.
Well, there he was, the man coming over right before the game. Let's scoot over just a little bit, Kyle, and it's good to hear from him. He's very excited about this team. We know they can play defense. We know they're big. It's putting points on the board. I think that's always been that question mark around this Wildcats team.
The other thing with them is they have 8 new starters on offense. When I say that, guys playing new positions. Anthony Valverde is a former linebacker turned running back. Alonzo Anderson moved to wide out. Mark Nielsen was a slot receiver 2 years ago. Now he's their quarterback. So there's a lot of guys playing at the new positions for the first time. And like we mentioned, there's no game where they can really kind of take their time and break in. They've got to be on point from day one, and that's tonight here against Summit.
Yeah, they've got Summit, which is, I guess, a good way to break in the 2013 season. And let me see if I can recite off the top of my head who's coming up next. It's, let's see, St. Bonaventure, Vista Marietta, Orange Lutheran, and Mission Viejo.
I don't think St. Bonnie's in there, but yeah, the other
Isn't
three.
Isn't it St. Bonnie?
I thought it was someone else.
Let's see.
I think there's someone else. Regardless, you're still talking about 3 or 4 of the best teams in the state loaded with D1 athletes. That's the interesting thing about this REV team. Previous years, they've had a couple D1 guys. They don't have a single player with a D1 offer entering tonight, so they're going to have one of those situations where the individual parts, the sum is greater than the individual parts.
Now we'll find out what they can do against the Skyhawks. Like we said, they're coming off a loss to Etiwanda in week 0, and from what I've read, there were some injuries also to Summit, so they could be down tonight for their game against REV.
And they also blew a big halftime lead. I believe Etiwanda rolled up 19 unanswered points on them between the second and third quarters. That could take some wind out of your sails if you're Summit, so I want to see how they bounce back. It was a tough loss where they had the lead and just couldn't quite pull it out. Let's see how they bounce back tonight against, frankly, one of the best teams in the Inland Empire.
And Summit's got some skill guys. They have some playmakers on their side of the ball in offense.
We mentioned Eric Brown. He's the top recruited receiver in the Inland Empire, committed to the University of Washington. Jordan Washington has a couple of D1 AA offers as well. Like Coach Bruich said, those are two guys they can fly, they can go get the ball. Summit's always had athletes back to the days of Jamal Williams and Dante Dion. That hasn't changed, but it's going to be a matter of how their new quarterback breaks in. And really, this is only Cesar Villalobos' second year on the job. We'll see how they can do. They had that disappointing playoff loss last year to Paloma Valley as the top seed.
Absolutely, that was the first round of the playoffs last year. Drop some Dante Dion knowledge. I love it. Okay, some other games tonight, some Thursday night specials. We got Paris taking on Patriot at Rubidoux High School. And also, La Sierra is taking on Canyon Springs. You were all over this story in the offseason with the coaching change at La Sierra, as Jeff Roney will make his head coaching debut for the Eagles tonight.
You know, Roney is a former longtime Poly assistant. He brings in Jeff Huerta, the former Poly head coach, as one of his coordinators. There's a lot of Poly on La Sierra. La Sierra, you know, we said all year, I think they need this first game because it's been all the talk about all the negatives. I think they're going to be excited to just get back on the field and play football. Canyon Springs, we talked about, might be a team on the rise. They're going to have a chance to move to 2-0 tonight. They only had 2 wins all last season, so if they can get another win in week 1 here tonight, that'll be big for their confidence.
Yeah, the Cougars with an impressive 34-3 victory against Jurupa Valley in week 1. So La Sierra and head coach Jeff Roney, maybe an uphill battle with the Cougars tonight.
You know, I think Canyon Springs definitely enters as the favorite for this game, but once again, Roney and the former Poly coaching staff might have a few tricks up their sleeve. La Sierra, I believe it was 2 years ago, made the playoffs, put up a winning record, so there's still some remnants of that.
All right, so 3 Thursday night games. Kyle and myself will be here for the Redlands East Valley taking on Summit. We've got Paris and Patriot, as well as La Sierra and Canyon Springs. We'll have video highlights from all 3 of those games later tonight on HS Game Time on the Thursday football final. Kyle, where will you be on Friday night?
I'm going out to San Jacinto, Lakeside versus San Jack. It'll be a good matchup to see. Lakeside will be looking for their first win under head coach Andy Penwarden, San Jack also will be looking for their first win of the season as Bill Powell, one of the longest tenured coaches in the area, comes back to the sidelines for another season.
And it appears I will be at the North Heritage game as the Huskies crack open their brand new stadium on campus. All right, Kyle and I are going to step away for a moment. We're going to zoom in on some of the pregame festivities as both teams are on the field warming up. But please join us on HS Game Time a little bit later tonight for all your video highlights. For Kyle Glazer, I'm Pep Fernandez. Thanks for watching HS Game Time Live pregame. Enjoy the pregame festivities.